in the spotlight.
Wow, we have already got our bans coming in here. The Aphelios banned away, so it looks like the Zeri is going to be going over to LNG. They ban away the Kennen and the Rumble. They recognize a hell of a lot of what we were talking about here. Shanji cannot be allowed to have these big impact top laners. However, for OMG, they've gone with the jungle route. They said, look, Tarzan, you're the issue here. Vi, Lee Sin. And with the first pick Zeri, I imagine, the Wukong going to be coming in here for Aki.
Yeah, Wukong, Ari, something really mobile in that mid lane, but I'm really surprised that LNG has decided to opt into the Zeri because LP is not the biggest fan of the Zeri. I believe she's only played one in the past 15 games, so it's going to be a bit of a shake-up for this LNG-Game1, but that just throws it back to this Cassandra pick for Shanzi. I said that you need to ban out every single champion. As you see, the Kennen and the Rumble are gone already, so if OMG doesn't pick up this on 3, it's most likely going to be gone as Zika. He is a very good Renekton and Sion, but he just locks in the Jax blind.
Locks in the Jax blind because I think he recognizes right now with the Rakan locked in here. Great engage, but you can't really let this go to the next band. You have to pick up the Xayah. It's so good in those kind of setups, but it does mean that LNG probably going to be banning more top laners, with OMG able to ban out a couple of supports, and we're seeing a very different shift here coming in from both these teams. I think OMG kind of saying, look, our weak side is a little bit our bot lane. We need to make sure that Abel and PP God are acceptable in terms of what they're able to bring to the table. Whereas LNG are saying, look, we need to make sure we lock in our top lane, make sure we get a good setup here for Zika. And it does feel like they're playing almost to their weaknesses to make sure they get a bit more comfort.
Yeah, OMG gonna look to ban out Scout's champion pool with this 2 remaining bans, and of course LNG just gonna slam more bans onto Shanzi's head. But I'm really curious what Shanzi is going to pick, because I think when you do look at his champion pool, he has played Sion a lot. It is his 2nd or 3rd most played, I believe, but is sitting on a 16% win rate, and we saw it being played in the previous series, and the 2 losses, quite literally, up against Toppies was on the sign, because he just looked a little bit lost when Shanti isn't given something that can zone out 2 or 3 people. OMG's teamfights look so chaotic, so I'm getting a little bit worried already, but hopefully, with LNG not looking to ban the Cassandra just quite yet, Shanti still has something up his sleeve.
See what they want to go for here. The Lulu ban does kind of come in here, means that you're not going to get that Lulu Zeri, which is almost impossible and obnoxious to deal with.
No!
The Cassandra banned away. I'm not super scared though at the moment. Shanji's got plenty in the tank. I hope for the day in modern League of Legends we get to see him back on the Shyvana top, but looks like it's going to be the option here to try and just give something to Cream that he's very, very comfortable on. Actually, everything from Cream is effectively up apart from that Ari, so could have went with the Akali, decides to go with the Sylas instead. Plenty to be taking off of the enemy team for the moment, and if you lock in the Renata, I feel like you're just kind of giving over a lot more of those key ultimates here over for OMG to use.
Yeah, but OMG's entire team composition so far is very low range, so this Renata is most likely going to be locked in as it is best in slot. But talking about the size getting locked in for Cream, I think Aki and Cream getting such a proactive duo so far in the draft is going to be amazing, because they are able to force a lot of skirmishes where Cream, he loves playing champions with mobility and forcing plays around the top side, especially for that Herald where Shanti is able to pick that up and of course translate it into plates. And I believe that is going to be the Renata last, with the Tilly getting locked in for Scout. So Scout, we usually see him on a very good on champions that can do a lot of tempo for that early game, and with Scout locking in this Tilly, she is looking to impact the side lane so much, because LP, I think he has had an outstanding performance so far in that bot lane.
We'll see what they want to go for. The Nautilus coming in here, I like this. It's a good little counter to the Rakan. Make sure you can't get as easy engages going for yourself. It makes it for a pretty easy hook and stun as things come in here. And a little bit of a tidbit as well. Scout has played 17 champions in the regular split, and that seems like
you can't ban him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you cannot ban this man out. He's only played the Talia twice, has won both times, and the Sion gets locked in here. Good smiles and good spirits coming out here from the OMG camp, but gonna go lock in that Sion, give themselves a nice kind of safe top lane, and go for the carry on Abel. It's going to be about kind of a very standard front to back team fight. Get this, Xayah hyper carry up to those 2-3 items, and look to try and just out execute LNG.
Look, I'm already getting a little bit worried for the side of OMG, because this is going to be the 3rd time that Shanji plays the Sion in the playoffs, currently sitting on 0% win rate, so hopefully they can turn the tides around with this draft. But so much team fighting AoE for this first draft from the OMG camp, as they are looking for hard skirmishes at that dragon. And talking about the first 15 minutes, we've seen Shandy do a lot of insane roams, cheating tempo quite a lot. So if they're able to sneak in those early leads into the pockets of this ADC, then it can be huge. But talking about LNG, I mean, they're just picking something very traditional where we do have the Talia getting locked in for a Scout, and I think Scout, when he is given a champion that can determine the tempo very early on in the game, also having a good matchup against that Sylas, then Scout is going to do so much impact alongside Tarzan on the Sejuani.
Yeah, I believe it was in the last series that OMG played where we saw Shanji going for the double jungle into a bot lane gang, going back top lane. I don't know. I can't remember exactly if they won that game or not. I tend to lean towards they didn't, but it definitely felt like a little bit more chaos as such. The Sion does feel like a little bit of a safe pick, not when OMG are playing it. They like to have weird and wonderful level ones, to say the least, and looks like for the moment they're just going to go pretty bog standard. And yeah, I love this from LNG. They recognize, look, we already know what you can do at a level 1. We're going to overload everyone on this bot side and make sure we do not get any of these shenanigans.
Yep, and talking about Tarzan, the reason why I think he is one of the best performing junglers in the LPL so far is because he is able to dodge vision so perfectly and just predict where all the enemy wards are. So I think if you want to shut him down early, then you have to place these entrance wards that OMG is going for so far to spot him out early on the camp so they can avoid those ganks, especially towards this top side where you want to have this Jax ahead.
Plenty of early vision being put down by both sides there. A little bit more defensive from LNG, a little bit more offensive from OMG, as you mentioned. And there's nothing really going to be happening at this level 1. We do have first strike coming out for Cream alongside Scout. So both of them looking to try and get something there. Scout going to get first strike, first strike, as he has a little ward there just to make sure. And they're just kind of covering those entries. Like you mentioned, Kitty, the key to catching out Tarzan is to make sure that you know exactly where he is at all time. His pathing is going to be so crucial in these first few minutes of the game, especially on something like this Sejuani, where he's just so comfortable setting up these lanes.
Yeah, he's been a big fan of the Sejuani, the Wukong, and the Vi, where they do have that extra dash to dodge these walls and just go over for those extra ganks. But talking about this top lane matchup, I just realized that OMG, their most banned champion is Jax. 21 games so far in this split, so I'm really curious on why they decided to let open this Jax for Zika for game 1, because he is kind of a 2-trick where he is very good on the Jax and the Renekton, but look at that win rate, 6-1 so far, so he's very comfortable with this matchup. And Shanty, he needs to be on an impactful pick, so hopefully when he does hit level 6, they start getting proactive very, very early.
Well, when you go 13-3 in a season, you do tend to come out with winning matchups pretty much across the board, as you can see there. The only close one there was Tarzan on the Sejuani, as Plenty did be kind of coming out here. And I will say that, you know, for OMG, there aren't a lot of comfort here. You can see that PP God, especially with Rakan, just something he's so good at being able to just kind of create opportunities, go for those big movements that can just completely change a team fight. Him and Aki have been exceptional as a duo so far this split. And I really want to see them linking up once more as they come into this series. And it is only game 1, of course. We're going to see kind of both teams feeling each other out, seeing what way they want to try and play this game. And for OMG, they need to try and make sure that, as you said, like, you know, they're not just letting LNG have control of this early game. They need to make sure that they're making the best that they possibly can. And looks like Shanji getting a taste of his own medicine here. A little bit of proxying away from the wave. Don't know what that's going to be able to give you on this side. Maybe just a little bit of an early recall there for the Jack. Go back, pick up a Cole.
That is a very sneaky, slow push that Zika has managed to pull off. And the only reason why he's going to be able to do this is because Tarzan is slowly pathing towards his top side, where Shanty really needs backup when that wave does build up. So it does seem like LNG probably can go for a gank after the scuttle. So with the Wukong obviously being in the bot side, it's going to be very tough as Shanty is in a very awkward position. But like you said, PP got on this Rakan for this game 1. He's very comfortable on it, but he's also my favorite Rakan to watch because he secures a lot of these early kills that goes over to OMG. He probably averages the highest kills for a support, honestly.
I mean, it feels great because when PP God's just like, you know, the embodiment of Giga Chad support, where it's just like, you know what, he deserves the kills. Why? Because, you know, that's just how it is. That's just how he plays. But yeah, I mean, you know, with that Ignite, it does feel like sometimes you can give it over, but it doesn't feel as bad when it's on PP God because he is so active on the champion, he is so proactive to try and put himself in a position to be a carry effectively. It's an interesting one as well. We're going to see a little bit of an engage in this bot side here. Just going to use the grand entrance and a little bit of a battle dance, but it's interesting as well because PB God has actually only been picking up the Rakan as of late. Only has 23 games all time in terms of his career on it. 15-8 on his win rate, so 62.5% there. But definitely something that's kind of being added to his wheelhouse of, you know, alongside the Nautiluses, the Leonas, and of course the Threshes of like, this is a champion this guy can pop off on, and you have to give it the respect it is needed. Scout walking in to see if he can maybe stop a little bit of a back here from Creep. Will be successful, but won't know that he's been successful.
Not just quite as the dragon does spawn right now, but with PP God picking up this Rakan and of course the Nautilus, it does change the entirety of OMG's playstyle a little bit. I believe that OMG, they were a big fan of the Aphelios and the Lulu earlier on in the split, but PP God not the biggest fan of that Thresh just quite yet. So with the Xayah also coming back into the meta, I do expect this Rakan to get picked a lot more, not just for PP God, just for the entire LPL league. But with Hung locking in this Nautilus instead of the Renata, they are looking for a lot of proactive kill angles, because Tarzan, he isn't on something like the Lee Sin or the Wukong where you're going to be a reliable damage source. So the only way you can make up for it is having continuous chain CC that allows Scout to just plant the damage, especially when you get that first hook.
And look, Kitty, we've had a bit of a slow early game. Both junglers have been kind of caught out, or not caught out, but definitely seen on a lot of these moments here as Hung is going to hold the wave away from the turret so that his AD carry can pick that one all up. Where do you expect this to kind of all kick off? Where do you want to see both these teams look to try and find that first advantage within this game and, of course, within this series?
It does seem like OMG is gaining a lot of this vision control for this first dragon. So if LNG doesn't make a response play in that top side, it is going to be a little bit awkward, but OMG, they do want these dragons on very early on, as your scaling isn't as good in my opinion. You have a Sylas and a Wukong that does pop off in the mid game, but if you wait a bit too long, then this Taliyah pick is going to get so annoying, especially in the hands of Scout, through 4 melee champions only able. Even Xayah is not even amazing long-range AD carry where you have to be walking forward to do anything. So it's going to be really a big question mark if they're going to be able to fasten up the tempo. But if this Jax gets put in an isolated matchup, you don't really have someone to answer this in the side.
That's the thing, you don't really have the answer, but so far so good for OMG. Pick up the first dragon of the game. Thankfully, it's Chemtech from first off, so on and an Ocean Lex, so we're already losing 2 of the potentially bad dragons. Depending on how you look at it, of course. Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be a Cloud Drake and be like, great, love that for us. But again, just kind of happy enough to see that both teams are just farming up here. I think honestly, LNG are happy as well. They kind of just let this one go up, get their first, you know, kind of backs in, build up towards those level 6s. Because you look across the board on both sides, the big power point, and when we, as you mentioned, to see the kind of big power spike to trying to looking for an advantage is with these big ultimates. The Glacial Prison, the Taliyah's Weaver's Wall, of course, and of course the From the Depths from the Nautilus. These are big ultimates that can have game-changing impacts.
And something that I love about Hung is every time they have the perfect wave to roam on when, let's say, for example, LP gets a cheater recall, he will always hover towards that mid lane. He just finds these angles onto the enemy mid laner, getting these kills into Scout's hands, and that's how they start getting 1 kill by 1 kill and get that early lead. But so far, very quiet early game from both teams, but LNG, they are more than happy to take this because I think they really excel when it comes to the late game team fighting.
I mean, you've got the Zeri. It's a Zeri moment. Always around the corner, as I like to say. You're always kind of waiting for that one moment or two for the Zeri to absolutely pop off. Aki finds himself in a little bit of fog of war here. A Scout maybe tries to see if he can catch out Cream on a aggressive push, but it does mean the blue buff gets confirmed for Tarzan. PP God just saying, yep, our blue buff was stolen, so we do not have priority on this bot side. And everyone just kind of backing themselves away. I was going to say, Cream should know that Tarzan is here. And right now, Zika is around. They're going to get the flash here out of Cream. And land the Glacial Prison, get the knockback as well. Do they have the damage, though? That's the real question. He's so tanky, and eventually he falls down. Tarzan and Scout getting themselves first blood for LNG.
That was a very anticlimactic first blood as Cream was just refusing to die, but surprisingly, OMG is the one picking up this first Herald. They're the ones starting it while their mid laner got caught. I'm pretty sure Aki could have saved him with that 2v2, but he's like, nah fam, we're gonna prioritize this Herald and drop it towards this mid or bot lane. As we even saw Zika roaming towards that mid lane, so LNG being the proactive ones out of the two teams.
Well, we did see the lightning crash come down on bot side. Abel just kind of stepping away from it. So it's only a plate and a little bit of a CS lead in the bot lane there. But we'll have a look at the replay here. And again, I feel like Cream, you knew that Tarzan was coming. They just got information from PP God. You shouldn't really be getting caught here.
Yeah, I mean, you already did force the flash out, and of course the E has been used. So once the CC lands from Tarzan, which was a really good ultimate, you are dead. As Aki was getting slowly zoned out by Zuka, but I don't think that matters too much. You had Shandy next to you as well. We even saw the Cyanide getting burnt, but it just ended up being a 2v1 in that mid lane. Of course, the first blood going to Scout's hand, which is something that you don't want to be happening.
Yeah, the regular season MVP for a reason, and it's an early start for him there. Not quite sure if that was just me or if you saw that craziness on the screen there as well, but I see Scout being caught out here by Aki, who does flash in back on top. Oh, he keeps the dummy for the last second to make sure he does not get seismic shoved away. Tarzan is just too late to answer, and Aki coming up trumps here for OMG.
Scout just got assassinated in his own jungle, and that is why Wukong is such a priority pick for the side of OMG. You're able to make these solo plays as the jungler of this team. LP!
LP! Oh, he misjudged the flash! Oh, no! Abel! He thought he could predict where LP was gonna go, and he gets punished for it. LNG back on top, 2-1 in kills.
But why was Abel forcing a 2v1? You had PP God surrounding that Raptor camp, not doing too much because Scout already got solo killed by Aki, and he opted into that 1v1. As long as, I guess he did burn the flash from LP, but that is not a good trade as you fall down, also giving over a tower play. I don't know what OMG is really doing in this bot side, but we're going to take another replay of this. He didn't expect Hung to be here as he wanted this Nautilus to respond to the Rakan at the Raptor camp, which possibly never happens. And this flash was kind of a misplay, as you already see LP flashing downwards, but he went upwards. So this was just an overall bad take from Abel. And I think using the flash, using the ultimate as well, this next dragon fight is going to be so hard for OMG to take.
Look, I'm very much a big believer of you gotta take shots like that. You have to believe in your own ability. It's just so unfortunate that it just kind of comes down to nothing from there. So you see the Rift Tower was dropped off in the mid lane. Did pick up a couple of plates. Second dragon is up and available here. OMG are the ones with a little bit of priority, but they haven't got total vision control. You can see on the minimap just a couple of small little wards dotted around the back of Blue Pit. No unleashed teleports for the moment. But it is definitely LNG who are feeling a little bit more comfortable walking forward with these two beefy boys in the Nautilus and the Sejuani.
Yeah, we don't have any TPs available for both top laners, but it does seem like Shanty is going to be the one making the first move. Scout doesn't have flash, so if he isn't positioning correctly here, they could potentially get a pick. However, it does seem like that play is going to die down. 3v3 on the bot side, very possible with Design not having the flash and ultimate available, but you have a very close time frame to force something happen.
Yeah, you've only got a couple more seconds here, 20 or 30 or so, to before that that the storm is available. And looks like OMG have weathered that storm now for the moment. Still good vision control here from the side of LNG, and it's going to be a bit of a 4v4. You can see the Scion, the Jack's kind of coming in, so it'll be a late 5v5. 13 minutes onto the clock, and this could be the moment here for LNG. They're only up about 1,000 gold. OMG looking to try and keep the dragon stacking going for them. There's going to be the Weaver's Wall to try and separate everybody away, and it's stolen away. Good there from Tarzan. We got PP God going in with the quickness. The lightning crash comes down, but they're going to jump onto everybody. LP just cannot really get killed right now. Hung goes golden to buy a little bit more time. The feathers fly, and Abel's just in the middle of nowhere. Can't be getting caught out like that, and they're just getting picked apart one by one. Little by little, everyone is falling down. It's a dragon and 4 kills. LNG are online.
And it seems, Oshin, that OMG is going to die by the 15-minute mark for the second dragon. Like you said, going over to LNG, and just such a messy team fight from the side of OMG. Abel caught in the middle of nowhere, flashing forward. Not even flashing forward, sorry, going forward. And just not getting anything done because that Weaver's Wall did cut off Abel very early on in the fight, and he wasn't able to do any damage. As a Xayah, you ideally want to be playing back, but only getting that route onto Tarzan. Of course, Shanji getting here a little bit earlier, but there was just not enough damage. Even with the Kraken available for this Xayah, she was just kiting into nowhere, and Zika coming over the wall just gets the Xayah killed as well.
Yeah, it looked like Abel was like, oh, cool, it's a 1v1, me versus Scout. I can take this, no problem. But then Zika flying in over saying, you thought. And then everyone else is kind of too separated. And this is the pivotal moment. This is what LNG do so well. They take that one advantage. I said it was a 1,000 gold lead. It's now a 3,000 gold lead. 6-1 in kills, a dragon apiece. It is a Cloud Soul, as you mentioned, going into this one. But it is just all LNG, and it's why you have to have such confidence in the team when it comes to those 5v5s. They just look like they know exactly what to do, when to do it.
Yeah, I can't stress even this enough that I think OMG relies on Shanji so much to have a champion that is able to impact the team fight by zoning out 3 to 2 people. But in this specific game 1, Shanji on the side not being able to do too much. We saw in the damage graphs, not even doing half of the Jaxes. And when you do only rely on Abel, I don't think he's consistent enough to be able to 1v9. And from the previous 2 instances, this Xayah is looking so shaky now with LNG sitting everyone with that gold lead. This Herald's also most likely going to go over to the side of LNG because they're the best at macro in the LPL.
Yeah, I mean, they got to be considered so terrifying when they can move around the map as freely as they want. But you can see OMG trying to maybe make something work here. PP God will get his battle dance off. They will have to commit several ultimates here. They're trying to jump really hard here on the PP God, but the Feathers come back. They're catching onto LP, who flashes, but it's a little bit too little too late. The Talia is dead. They've gone for a fight they had no real reason to go for. These Feathers are lining the floor. LNG, you're trying to catch out PP God and you get punished.
That was a 4v5 Oshin. We didn't even have Cream in that specific fight, but the Weave as well coming out of Scout. PP God getting the kill as well. Oh my god, 1 for 1. But Scout using that Weave as well to cut off OMG actually backfired because Abel was able to get such an amazing ult with that corner, and it just kind of killed everyone with Scout and LP falling down first.
Zika seeing if he could be a bit of a nuisance here in the Shanji. Still had the leap strike to kind of get himself away, but out of nowhere went from a 3,000 gold lead to basically dead even. Let's look at this again because it's all on the PP God. I don't know why you're committing so much for a non-essential carry.
Yeah, 2 ultimates thrown onto PP God, but this is still a 4v5 with Cream being very late. But this Xayah, they just crowded everyone into the most ideal situation for OMG to take, playing front to back with Shanji of course being there as well. And LNG giving an opportunity for OMG to come back into this game because they still scale relatively well.
Absolutely, and I think this is the big thing that we talk about when it comes to these teams. Like, yes, LNG are great at capitalizing on mistakes. So are OMG. So are OMG in the sense that, you know, you give them an opportunity to show what they can do and they will take it. I will say that Scout Talia wall was a little bit unfortunate. It did see that LP had literally nowhere to go once he got caught. And that's the big thing you got to think about. Those small little differences that are able to kind of change the dynamic of a fight, be it the terrain, be it, you know, who you get your ultimates on. Those are the big things that can make or break a team in these kind of series.
Yeah, I'm surprised that LNG decided to force another fight in that mid lane because you already had the advantage that you're looking for. This Jax is slowly going to become online once he picks up his second item. Honestly, could also go for a whole break in that side, and Shanji just has no response. LNG looking for a pick onto Cream here. Probably won't be able to get a no minions available.
Yeah, well, they don't want to give over. See, the thing is, I saw what they were trying to do there. There was an ultimate hijack available for Cream. He couldn't take Tarzan's, but he could take Hung's. So he was like, we don't want to show Hung. He'll take that. It could go all very messy very, very quickly. So they kind of just backed themselves away, used the priority they have on top lane to gain that turret. It is going to be traded back, you would imagine, on the bot side now for the Dragon and, of course, for the majority of the damage here onto this bot lane turret as well. So coming up to about, you know, minute and a half until 20 minutes, coming up to that mid-game, it is going to be fairly even. And again, we come back to what we expect from these teams. It's going to come down to execution of these team comps in those big 5v5s.
Yeah, I think LNG just need to play up their picks. We saw the combo from Tarzan and Scout. Once the first initial CC lands, you just need to Scout to pump out all the damage that he has from one rotation of a combo, and that is one person deleted. But in the previous fight, they just chucked everything onto PP God, but with the mobility on this Rakan available, he just kind of got out. And of course, LP did get a little bit too forward with the Zeri pick, but it should be fine. Not too big of a gold swing just quite yet. Second dragon going to the hands of OMG, but Scout was able to make a response play in that top, opening up the map and prepping for this Baron.
All right, Kitty, if we can have a moment now after a hectic 5 minutes or so of play. Everyone's kind of happy to just scale back up. Dragon will be spawning in 45 seconds or so. We can have a quick stock of the items. And you can see the value of Merc Treads in this particular game for OMG. They are heavily investing in the tenacity of this particular one. And interesting enough, actually, Tarzan, he's going to be a ways, pretty much, not never say never, but definitely a ways away from finishing off his mythic item. He's gone with the Balmy Cinder after the Warmog's finish. So he is just a tanky boy looking to soak up the damage, get back, reset after a couple of seconds, and then get back out onto the map.
I do like Tarzan building this Warmog's Buzz. We see in the LCK all the time where you are trying to play the fight a lot slower, being able to go in first, of course, and then healing it back up, and you engage once again, which is exactly what LNG is trying to look for. Now with the Baron available, I mean, the Herald did get dropped in top lane. No tier 1 towers, except for mid, are gone just quite yet, but with OMG having this tier 1 tower advantage, they are just able to put so much vision down for this Baron.
We'll wait and see where these two teams want to go for. It's pretty much dead even. Dragon's not really a big win condition at the moment. It is nice, do not get me wrong. Of course, our friends over in the LCK, big Cloud Soul aficionados. But definitely not one we're going to be seeing for at least a while. Maximum, or minimum, I'd say, about 9-10 minutes before we really kind of get to that. And that's when you're at 30 minutes. That's when you're at 3 items onto 80 carries. We're already on 2. You got the Navori Quick Blades here for Abel. You have the Runan's Hurricane here for LP alongside their Heinun Quiver Mythics. So this is a game that's going to come down to how you're able to execute on these fights. It's the game about how you're able to kind of make yourself known, make your impact in those big 5v5s. Looks like OMG are happy to kind of roam around for the moment, just continually control the vision around this Dragon, or this Baron, I should say. As Hong might be getting called out just a little bit here. He does have Flash, and he's going to have to use it. He was getting corralled in there. Lots of wolves coming in to try and bite him down, but doesn't get himself killed. Does lose a summoner, though, because of it.
And we see how tough it is for LNG to walk into this top side because you just don't have any pyre in this mid lane. And of course, I think they need to put Shanzi up against this sign where he is able to win the 1v1 and start pressuring the side. Maybe LNG can even force the side with this Tilly ultimate. We need to see a bit of more side lane action from this team. And then maybe from one pick, they can also just start the Baron because you do have the Zeri and of course the Tilly that does shred it so fast. But talking about this mid game, I mean, this Sylas and Wukong is going to shine and they're looking to force these opportunities, but it really depends on what Cream decides to take. I believe he did steal the Nautilus ult, already used. So next one is going to be Sejuani, and without a cleanse available for LNG, that could be a pick as well.
So gotta be careful now this time. Hung, you're flashless as you try and clear out that vision. That's the big thing, is that yes, it's all well and good having that big, kind of beefy engage, but they can't get onto the main carries. If you cannot find the flash hooks as such, then it's going to be a bit of an issue. They're going to try and maybe commit a little bit here onto Tarzan, as it's all a bit of a fight over blue buff. Screw fighting over Dragon or Baron. We're going to go for the blue. Is secured. Smite fight won by Tarzan. And everyone's just kind of happy scaling up for the moment. 2 items that are completed for Cream. He's going to have fully stacked onto his Rod of Ages as well, alongside that Zonya's Hourglass. So this is getting to a point now, Kitty, where we're starting to hit critical mass for a couple of these teams. It feels like it's going to be one more big team fight to really blow open this game. And I don't think either team's going to want to give it over.
Yeah, most definitely. And with this Baron, of course, the Dragon spawning in 40 seconds, LNG starting to feel the pressure just a little bit, but I believe that Hung was able to clear out the vision for this Baron, and it is only going to be sold for OMG, so if they're not careful with their tempo, LNG can realistically sneak it under their noses, but we'll have to see what happens next, because OMG picking up these items, Zonya's available for Cream. Once he's able to pick up a very valuable ult like the Sejuani or even the Nautilus ult for the engage for the side of OMG, pick by pick is the way they win, and Shanzi playing front to back as well with the Scion is looking ideal for this soul point.
All right, 10 seconds, both teams moving slowly towards it. Shanji has linked up with his bot lane to give them a little bit of a front line. Cream is still in this top lane. And the thing is, OMG, if they don't feel like it, they don't want to take this, they can just leave this one go. They don't have to fight it if they do not want to.
TP.
They do have good vision. TP going to be coming in. That's a big flank coming in here. They don't know exactly where he is. Cream needs to find an opportunity. It's a 5v5 straight away. Hung gets caught out. The lightning crash from Cream comes in. Goes golden to buy time. They do land the ultimate on top of him. He flashes immediately. As you can see, they're trying to go back in on top of this one here. Ooh, Aki! So close to going down. Tarzan wants to regen some health right now. LP gets his own lightning crash, and everybody backs away. It only is the one for none. Health bars are low, but can you contest against this dragon? You're trying to get this health bar back up on Tarzan. And eventually the dragon will go down. Don't even need the jungler right now. OMG on Soul Point.
LNG is just giving these opportunities over to OMG. Hung not having the flash available a little bit too forward. Also, Nautilus and Desire, you're never going to be able to get your hands onto Desire pick, as we saw Abel topping the damage charts for this ADC. But we also saw a very amazing flank from Cream, as he was able to get his hands onto the entire backside of LNG, and that is what they're scared of most. Getting something flanked onto the back where LP isn't able to do as much damage as you desire. But this choke with PB God on the Rakan was just so tough to play. And of course, Cream stealing the Zerial, not the most important, but they just don't have enough damage for any kills. As Aki even goes in, but Scout having that Ceres, and of course the Liandry, oh, not Liandry's, might I add, but the, oh, it is Liandry, sorry. Just doesn't kill anyone.
Yeah, you get the extra HP. You've obviously got the lifeline shield coming in there. I was a little bit worried for Cream up on that top side. I'm now even more worried for PP God, who finds himself very much caught out, and he is going to be killed off. He flashed as well. PP God, we were just praising you for so long, and he just gets just a little bit too aggressive without an exit strategy.
Both of these supports are looking a little bit lost, Oshin, but should be fine. We do see Scout picking up the void stuff, and finally Zuka is putting pressure towards the Sun in the side lane. As LNG, you can't win a 5v5 when Shandy is in that front line, because it is going to be so tough, as you need Zuka to get that angle onto this Xayah. But it's so tough, I mean, it's so hard, because she has the flash ability, she has the ultimate as well. So LNG need to take their fights very carefully, because you're currently sitting on Dragon Soul Point. And of course, OMG snowballing with the Xayah pick.
And the thing is, though, is that if you can delay it a little bit for the next dragon, yes, you will have that flash back up for PP God, but it's going to be close. And that flash engage is critical for OMG to be able to kind of go zone before. LNG, they are happy to keep on scaling. Void Staff finish up for Scout. Infinity Edge now for LP. These two big carries are very much online. And this is something as well. People kind of look at the Taliyah and they don't see her as a massive late game damage. I tend to completely disagree. Like, there has been so many times, specifically in the LPL, we have seen the Taliyah do monstrous amounts of work in these team fights just to be able to, around Baron or whatever, around Dragon, because you're basically shooting fish in a barrel. There is no one to contest you. You're just throwing rocks into an area where no one can escape.
Yeah, they just need to play this fight so much slow. You have the Warmogs, you have the Taliyah. Just let OMG get a little bit, I guess, I wouldn't say worried. I'm getting my words mixed up here, but you want OMG to be playing towards you. And once they use all their initial engage, then that is when LNG shines the best. But without a ward on this turn, they are going to start it with Liandry's and 3-item Zeri now. Very fast.
He's a very fast Baron as Aki over the wall. TP going to be coming in and jumping in. Smite's way too early. Aki has to go golden to try and buy some time, but he's got no one to keep him in play as he goes down. Shanji trying his best, but Zik has found Cream there, so it's a bit of a 4v3 and a 1v1. Off to the side, Cream has to use the Grandmaster's might as he tries to make this one work. Shanji getting caught out, but he's very, very tanky for the moment. They're going to have to leave him be. Baron and 2 kills. LNG decisive when they needed it the most.
The only way that LNG could come back into the game was sneaking that Baron, and that's exactly what they pulled off. Somehow, OMG didn't have vision of that Baron with the ways they reset. Now level 17 on Scout as well. They're going to look for an inhib in this mid lane with 2 people down on OMG.
It's going to be an inhibitor, you would imagine, locked and loaded for the side of LNG. Oh, they do get a catch out there onto LP, who's forced to flash away. Has Ghost no cleanse. PP God with the quickness does keep everybody away, and a little bit of an overstep, a little bit of a mistake from LNG means that they do not break the base.
This Baron tempo is going to be huge for LNG, with the Dragon also spawning in 1 minute. They are going to be able to secure this with those Baron recalls. But OMG put in an awkward situation now. We see Cream on the side only sitting on 1 assist, which is going to be very tough for the next up-and-coming fight. But like you said, this smite was just a little bit too early. Even Shandy getting in a TP very late, with Aki getting already dying in his team fight. It is going to be a 4v5, and of course, Zuka zoning out Cream. I think Cream's ultimate choices this game has been a bit weird. You ideally want to be looking for the Nautilus, the Sejuani, or even the Taliyah wall, but he's gone for the Zerial and the Jaxel, which I don't think offers too much when it comes to a 5v5.
Well, we're coming back into live. The base was not broken open. Baron's still there for a minute 15, but unfortunately for LNG, you don't really get a choice to push in those waves that much. You have to go for this fight. You have to make sure you're in position for this. PP God, still no flash, still no quickness for him either. So OMG find themselves on the bot side, LNG on the top. There was a reset coming in here for Cream. Level 17 now for him. Don't know if he bought an item there or not, but we'll see if it ends up having an impact here. As you can see the wards kind of like, you know, both sides drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is our side, that's your side. I'm kind of waiting for it now. OMG would love to be able to get this one here. TP going to be coming in on the backside. It's not going to be the ultimate flank like we saw last time. Cream now finds himself in position. Flashback up for PP God and the quickness. Talia wall does come in, separates them out 2 and 3, but the wall is not going to do a lot after the point, so that's gone now and dead. Shanji going to tank up a hell of a lot. Cream gets onto the backside here, but maybe caught out himself. Doesn't commit fully, but they commit back onto Hong. They jump in and they're trying to catch the Talia out as well. Zika hasn't had a moment to really belong in this fight. LP's been caught. He drops the lightning to crash. You can see Abel so low, but it doesn't matter because nobody can finish him off. OMG right back in this as Zika flashes over the wall to try and survive, but I don't think he's going to be surviving much longer than this. He is going to be able to kind of give himself a little bit of an extra room to breathe, but he will be chased down, and Dragon's Soul will be going over to OMG.
And O'Shane, are you not entertained by OMG? Somehow they bring this game back by finding picks onto the support and scout of LNG, and it is just back and forth ever since that 0 minute, but OMG fighting every single they can to force a 5v5, and of course Zika was so desperately trying to get a flank angle onto the backline of OMG, but LNG took too long to pull the trigger with the Weaver's Wall going out early. Didn't really do too much, and Cream stealing that Nautilus all locked down Scout straight away, and that is one of your main DPSs down for this fight. But Hung not having the flash available, caught out once again, which this Nautilus pick for this game 1 is looking a little bit goofy, but with Cream flashing in, locking down Scout, there is not much you can do outside of this. And of course LP trying his best, but Wukong's value for these team fights and chokes is so insane. Abel not even dying here is just such a detrimental loss for LNG, and I can see this game going either way.
Absolutely, and I gotta give massive props to PP God there. Didn't even have to use his flash. Hit every single person he could and found the angle to be able to get on top of LP without being contested, without someone trying to block his path, and that was what set up basically a very successful fight for the side of OMG. LNG are still ahead in terms of the goal, but they're now down a Cloud Soul. That is key now coming into the next few fights. You look at people like the Wukong, the Silas, that extra bit of move speed. Hell, the Rakan getting so much value out of that when he's able to pop that quickness and get even quicker.
Even quicker, like you said, with the Baron spawning in 1 minute. OMG already securing so much control over this top side, but flashes will be up for this next fight, which is so important for LP and Scout. Of course, Scout couldn't react to this Nautilus result, so they have to play so extremely carefully. As Cream, he does just make or break the team fights with the amount of, with what ultimate he decides to choose, as if he is able to get his hands onto the backline, it is just bye-bye to Scout or LP. However, LP, he does have the Immortal Shield, and I believe he is working towards that 4th item, so he is going to be a lot harder to kill. So Scout's positioning has to be so good for this next Dragon. Oh, Baron.
I mean, this is, again, like I said it a couple of times ago, I was like, oh, it feels like the next fight's going to be the last one, but it just feels like, you know, OMG throw it to LNG, LNG kind of throw it back. They're both just offering opportunities to come back into this one here. Neither team having a solidified lead as such, or, you know, enough to really kind of make anything else happen. GA finished up for LP, and that's going to be significant coming into the next fight. We'll have Flash for this Baron fight as well. Rabadon's Death Cap finished up for Cream and has 8 stacks in a Dark Seal. We may be looking towards turning that into a Magi Soul Stealer, but you can see there LNG haven't got a huge amount of control. They're trying to build it up right now. Scout maybe looking to try and, you know, set this one up. Again, it would be very quick with all 5 members here. They know that the Scion just reset. It's going to be only coming in now. As TP coming in. They're starting it and they're burning it down. There is a ward on this, so this will be a 50-50. You can see Scout wants to try and separate everybody out with the Talia wall. The Weaver's wall doesn't really do anything except separate Zika, who gets caught out. They're trying to use the quickness to come in here. Shanji trying to see if he can distract people from Cream on the top side. They are going to see Abel getting knocked up here by Hong, as they're going to try and burn down Cream. He's dead. 4v5 now in favor of LNG, but Aki finds the back end, keeps the carries away from doing the DPS, as Shanji is still so damn tanky. LNG and LP now finally able to join in on the fight as OMG have to completely disengage. The health bars are low, but you remember Tarzan has got a Warmogs. LP flashes because he knows if he gets caught out there, he is dead. TP coming in from Zika from the base. It's got flash, but he's not going to use it. Now everyone backs themselves away. OMG still in this fight. They're going to jump back straight in on top of this Baron because look at these health bars. They're healthy enough to be able to go for this again.
Aki has smite still, so he can realistically still go for this. He has the flash available as well, but it does seem like they're giving it up. Baron going over towards LNG, and LNG playing that fight so disciplined and slowly suffocating Cream as he was the only one caught down looking for that flank desperately. I believe he even stole the Sejuani ult, but that Sejuani ult went onto the Sejuani, and that is not the target that you're trying to look for, as Scout was just over the wall doing so much damage also alongside LP, where there was just no focus onto these two main carries. And we get another look at this team fight. Really nice weave as well, cutting off OMG's backline as Cream was just a little bit caught out of position with this Sejuani ult going onto the tank, as everyone just focused down the silo straight away. And even the Nautilus ult going on to Abel just stores him for an extra few seconds, but Scout just being the silent hero of this. And Aki, I believe he was trying to look for a flank, but not doing too much because you already have your silos down. And with the initial engage dead, OMG, they slowly bled.
Take a breather, but not for too long. Minute till the Elder Dragon spawns. Tier 1 in the bot side goes down. It's now a 6,000 gold lead, just a little bit underneath it. You can see the damage being put in there. Isn't exactly significant, as we can see Kong maybe getting caught up. Oh my god, that seismic shove was huge! Not quite able to save off his support, but the damage is significant. Now Zika trying to come in on the backside of this. Talia wall separates everybody out, so it's support for support. Shanji goes a little bit too far forward against the two carries. Three-man counter-strike, and Zika finally finds himself an impactful moment. Aki needs to stay alive, because he knows if he dies, this Elder Dragon is forfeit. As Abel now getting caught out. Scout goes down. Abel keeping everybody alive right now. LNG not quite able to find their mark onto OMG Abel, but he will be able to dodge out on the W from the Zeri. He needs to be able to try and get away from this one here. Doesn't get the feathers to lock up LP, who is chasing him down, but with the extra little bit of movement speed available to him, he should be able to stay alive.
And somehow in the end, it is just a 3-for-3 trade for both of these teams. But 3 Baron buffs going down for the side of LNG is going to be so huge. As you just pick that up, and that is going to be about 30 seconds denied as you are trying to look for that tempo with this Jackal. We're going to see how this fight starts, which is Hung just getting caught out of position and everyone forced onto him. 3-man flip from Scout as well, but not enough damage because we do have that life steal, and of course the amount of Amar that Shanji is building. But OMG, they only know how to go forward. Suka coming in late, but lands a 3-man stun as well. But this is Elder.
We're going again. Double TP coming in here for OMG. They want to try and catch them out before they can really set up on the side of LNG. Dragon down about half HP. Zik has already found himself on the backside. We can see the TPs that are coming in from Scout as well. It's going to be another full 5v5. Here we go. We're going in. It's secured by OMG. Neither jungler gets it, but can they get the damage down afterwards? That is the question. Tarzan eventually falls. Scout trying to use some ordnance off to the side, and the Jax will fall as well. GA used perfectly there by Aki, and OMG finally get themselves the fight they wanted around an objective.
And with the previous fight, Tarzan did fall, so they just lost so much tempo, and OMG rushed it the second it started, with Aki and Abel being the members alive from the previous fight. And now LNG, they were the ones with 2 Barons, but now they're looking like they are going to lose their first inhibitor tower in this mid lane.
Using so much pace right now. Shanji trying to maybe tank up this tower so they can just go for it. They know this is their opportunity with the Elder, with the minions. Can they make it work? There's going to be a Talia wall to block them off, but all it does is delay for the moment. Shanji now moving up towards this top side just to make sure they can get as much as they possibly can. The game will not end right here, right now. But again, OMG find a way back in Kitty. This is game 1.
But why is LNG forcing 5v5s? You have a clear win con in this Jax, forcing the side lane. You have Scout's weave as well to play towards this Jax, but I don't think we saw it a single time. And Zuka grouping one after another. They are just not as strong compared to Shanti, who is full tank, but this is just a replay of the previous fight where Tarzan goes in, unfortunately misses Smite as Abel does secure it with his roots. And with this Elder Dragon being in OMG's pockets, you just cannot win this in any way, as Scout was over the wall, and this is just a 45 to begin with. And OMG, I mean, they're the best at forcing 5v5s, and LNG is just playing into their hands.
I think Tarzan smited Shanji. I had a quick look at the replay. I'm pretty sure Tarzan smited the Scion by accident. That is Very unfortunate. And look, when you're all clumped up like that with the massive hitboxes and health bars, it's hard to know which one is which. But to come back into live, and mid lane turret did go down. Top lane now being sieged here by OMG. Gold leads mean nothing. 80 carries full items. You're building up to your final items here for your mid laners. They steal away the Sejuani ult because they still have a couple more seconds of this Elder Dragon. That means you just cannot fight them. You have to try and just, concede all of these structures and hope that you can fight at the Baron in a minute's time.
Yeah, and that's double inhib for LNG down as OMG. They are going to reset set for this Baron, but how are you ever going to walk in? OMG are just going to secure this Baron and work towards that third inhib in the bottom lane. And LNG, they don't seem like they're going to have too much of an answer to clear out the super minions that is going to get pressured from this. No TPs from OMG just quite yet, so maybe they can't force a 4-1 just in the upcoming future. But Tarzan desperately trying to get any vision, perhaps even a steal, but I don't think it's worth it.
I mean, the vision control right now does belong to OMG around that Baron, and it's the benefit of taking the inhibitors. You're able to push everybody back. No one can move forward on top of you. GAs were popped as well. That's the very key thing. Zika will probably not have his available to him by the time this dragon does end up spawning. Finally get the Banshees available for Cream. He's full built. He is aligned alongside this Zeri. As we look to see them, they could burn this down so quickly if they want to go for it. They are going to immediately jump on it from spawn. 7,000 HP. Zika trying to move over. Shanji playing bouncy. You don't have to go home to them, but you can't stay here. Now do they go for a full fight? That is the question. Aki looking for an angle. Will only land onto one or two people. They landed on the Tarzan at the end of it. LP can do nothing. LP is a spectator watching his team get slaughtered as he waits to see if he can find an opportunity. Guess what? You cannot. Triple kill coming in for Cream. And OMG look like they found themselves an opportunity to maybe end this game. They're TPing in. It's a double TP coming on the backside of this one here as they look to try and end this game. It's only Scout and LP, but these towers are not long for this world. Shanji and Cream, the solo laners of OMG, alongside the rest of their team, shall end this game and win off game number 1. They start the series 1-0, and LNG have an awful lot to answer for.
What an insane turnaround for this game 1. Cream only sitting on 1 KP in the first 15 minutes. Ended up getting a triple kill to finish off this first game. And I believe Scout, before the series even started, they said, I'm a bit scared of OMG as we don't think we will win against them. And this is a dominating performance out of the roster for OMG.